Hi, I'm Harriet and I've been working in social media for over a decade now.
On my way to you, good at what I do. I'm OMW, OMW. On my way to you, good at what I do. I'm OMW. Watch me walk away, putting myself on display. 1, 2, 3 a day. I'm on my way, on my way. I'ma have you on tips.
It all started in 2012 when I launched my own equestrian blog. That was because I went to study in the Netherlands and wanted to take friends and family who stayed at home with me on my journey without them like accompanying me live. So that's how it all started. And ever since the whole thing has grown, I established myself as a content creator in the equestrian scene, and I also started to build an agency which helps studs and companies in the equestrian world with social media and online marketing. Over the past days I got a few packages again. This one's from Heygain and that one's from Hippos. And I'm just quickly going to unbox. I already checked those. It's a collaboration that we're trying out because that's how I usually do my work. I only collaborate with companies that I believe that I can put into my daily life. So there are certain companies, even though I like the product, that I wouldn't collaborate because I don't know how to make a nice campaign out of it. So well, this one's something really nice. I can just quickly show you. We're trying the collaboration and see if it fits, and if it does, then we're going to talk about a long-term collaboration. The products are called EO Botanic and they're 100% vegan, and it is it's like a spray for the mane, and it's care for the hoofs, and this is something that they call Wonder Oil, which is really good because one of my horses, Caspi, he actually just had a fungus, and he lost a lot of hair on his chest. So this one is supposed to do wonders. So let's check if that works out. And this is the Heygain. I got the travel size one, and I also got the slow feeder. So I'm just quickly going to unwrap this to check how I'm going to fit this into my car, because I actually really don't know how to do it. But let's see, maybe it's just more packaged, and once it's all together, I have a chance of getting it in my car.
I think it is so hard to explain, so you actually have to be together with her, see it, live it. The thing is, you can really not describe it by words, but just by seeing what she does. Sometimes it's a mobile phone, sometimes it's just the camera, sometimes it's concept work, sometimes it's filming, events, social media, online, offline, horses, no horses, other people's horses, horsemanship, horse riding. It's so complex, and in the end, I also couldn't summarize it, but I always say she was the first influencer in Germany, the first horse influencer in Germany, which is, I think, sounds quite special, and I'm trying to brag about her.
Okay, so we got this. Oh, it's not that heavy. Oh goodness, it is heavy. Oh, okay. No, this is smart. Yeah. Let's not get this out of the package. So yeah, now my task is to get this in the car. Yeah. So it's a lot of carrying. So I feel like I should be a lot more fit than I am due to the fact that I just carry a lot of stuff. Please excuse my casual look, but I'm just about to go to bed. To look not too tired tomorrow when I'm filming.
I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance, dance, dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance, dance. I just wanna clap, clap, turn around, dance, dance, dance. I just wanna have fun. Turn around now. I just wanna have fun. Turn around now, turn around now. I just want I wanna turn around, dance. I just want.
I kind of have two jobs, one being in front of the camera, kind of, depending, sometimes it's a video camera, sometimes it's my mobile phone, it really depends. But this part of my job allows me to experience a lot of things by myself and also be able to step out of my comfort zone a lot. And the other part of my job, which is me being behind the camera, not only like not filming, but advising companies and people what to show. Sometimes it's a strategic part, sometimes it's more marketing, sometimes it's more like building up an entire story for a video, for a campaign. It's a job that challenges me in a lot of different spaces, and I really love that because I kind of get the best of both worlds. I get to experience the fun part of being a content creator and of being like an influencer, if you want to put it that way, but also get to have a lot of insights behind the scenes and also creating content for companies without me being in front of the camera and being the face of that brand at that moment. So that gives me like a 360 overview of the whole social media and online marketing landscape, and I really love that.
Hi Maus. Aha, wie sieht deine Nase aus? Bist aber auch ein Pechvogel. Guten Morgen, Süße. Und du?
I actually don't come from a horsey background, so my mother's allergic to horses and my dad, I don't know, I think he rode maybe like the typical thing that a man tells you when you meet him as a horse girl is that, oh yeah, I used to ride, which means he had like was on a pony for like a round or two. But my dad swears that he rode as a small boy, so let's just believe him. But I don't initially come from a horsey background, so I've always known that I wanted to ride. Horses were my biggest passion. No one knows where it's coming from because I don't have any role models nearby who wanted me to ride or who were actively riding. So I really fought for my riding lessons. So in the beginning I started also just by being on a small pony, and then I started taking lessons in summer camp, and I loved it so much, but we didn't have a riding school nearby where we used to live, so I always had to wait 1 year until I could go back to summer camp. So then I was for 6 weeks at a small farm, and I loved riding, and I did it the whole day.
Siva. Na? Hast du heute gute Laune? Geht so, ne? Geht so.
When we then moved to Denmark, I was lucky enough that we finally had a riding school nearby, so I convinced my parents to send me to riding school, I think once a week, every Friday, and it was really close, a real close call with my school. So there was my mom waiting with the engine running, and I had to run outside, and I got undressed and dressed in the car so I could go to my riding lesson. And my trainer there, she said to my parents that I was very dedicated and passionate about it, and that if they want to support me and are able to support me, she would recommend buying me a pony. So that's what they did, and I was really lucky to have Gunilla, my riding teacher at that time, who convinced my parents. And then I got Mr. Nice Guy, my first pony, who also was the horse that my sister learned riding on a few years later. Yeah, and the rest is history.
Caspi. Komm her, Schatz. Guten Morgen. Oh, du hast doch geschlafen gerade. Oh.
My horses play a very big role in my life, and they are always with me through the ups and downs of everyday life, and I'm very grateful for that.
Mit dir anfangen? Ja, ich werde mal mit dir anfangen. Ja, mach ich. Nimm mal her. Meine. Lottie. Ja.
Currently, I own 5 horses. Cosma, Lottie, Caspi, and Siva are located in our barn, and Zizi is currently having a little bit of a timeout because we don't have enough space in our stable, which is very unfortunate, but we're working on it, and the next stall is going to be his. Zizi is a very special horse to me because he's such a nice guy. I just can't put it in other words. He's very friendly, he's very open, and I actually don't know anyone who doesn't like this horse. It's just as soon as he's entering a stable, everyone just wants to cuddle him because he's really cute, and he really just has this aura of a horse that you want to cuddle the whole time. Zizi is very special to me because it's actually the first horse that I bought with my own money. So I was very proud of that at that time. I'm still very proud of that. And he's been by my side since 2012, but I bought him in 2014. And he was previously owned by a friend of mine.
Wait, was it really just a friend?
No, actually it was my ex-boyfriend. Oh. 2016 was the year when 3 horses came into my life. The first one was Cosma. She is the first horse that I bred by myself. She is a huge gray horse, and she has the nicest character of all of them. She is the best amateur horse in the world. She's not the most careful horse when it comes to jumping, which results in us having a few faults every once in a while, but honestly to me that doesn't matter because she is so brave, she's so kind, she's so funny. It's so much fun just to spend time with her. It's of course always special when you see the foals that you bred, but I think that the first horse that you bred always has a very, very special place in your heart. And it's just, well, the cherry on top that the horse that I bred, the first horse that I bred, is not only super cool and turned out great, but is also a very kind, sweet, and calm soul that, yeah, she really relaxes me. So I would say that she's a gentle giant. She's giving me a lot of comfort. So when I'm sad, she is the horse that I would always go to. A few weeks after Cosma was born, I decided that I wanted another foal, but of course I cannot just do a magic trick and breed another one in the same year. So I decided I wanted to buy another filly. So I just went online and checked for horses that were for sale, and I found this very, very cute little brown filly, and I immediately fell in love with her. I drove to her breeders, I think 1 week later. And on that exact same day, I already signed the contract because I fell completely in love with her. Buying Lottie was a very good choice because in the beginning, she was very shy, and she's also a horse that easily gets scared. So I was not really sure for a while if we would match, but she has turned into a very, very sweet horse. She's still quite nervous, but as soon as she trusts you, she will still do things for you. It sounds so weird, but for example, if she is afraid of a jump, and I'm not forcing her because you can't force this horse, and not that I'm trying to force my horses, but there's no chance in forcing this horse. So if she doesn't want to do something, she won't do it. So if she's afraid of something, she won't do it either. But if you give her the comfort and tell her we can do it together, then she trusts you if you're the person that she trusts. And I think that trust is something that we've built over the years. And although I struggle with a few things while riding, and she's not an experienced horse, she will do anything for me. And that is such a good feeling, and also a trust that I would never want to lose, ever.
Have you ever walked the high pass, watched the northern lights flash, took a photograph on a Paris street? Have you ever climbed a tall tree, asked someone for mercy, gave something away that wasn't free? I don't wanna get a vision of you stuck in my head, because I know that you were meant to be wilder.
Schlaf.
Not a television while you're lying in bed. It's slowly gonna be the death of you. Have you ever really lived? You talk a big game, but it's just a matter of time. Have you ever really lived? We're all on the clock. Blink of an eye, you were gone. So for once in life, the deeper water, feel the pull of an every night. And ask yourself this one: have you ever really lived? Have you ever used your hands to build something from scratch that wasn't even for you? When you hear the waves are crashing over Nazareth, don't you wanna see them? And I don't wanna get a vision of you stuck in my head, because I know that you were meant to be wilder. Another night of television while you're stuck in your head. Is that really how it's gonna be? Have you ever really lived? You talk a big game, but it's just a matter of time. Have you ever really lived? We're all on the clock here.
In the end of 2016, I bought Siva, a mare who had already been to competitions up to, I think, 1.35 meters. She was quite successful. She was a young, very successful horse. And the only thing was that she was not really good at all of the other basics that a horse should have. So it was a little bit wild riding with her through a course. And I had a lot of struggle. I think she's the horse that has been the biggest challenge of my equestrian life so far, and I still struggle with getting this horse because she has a very, I don't really know how to say it. It's a very, she has a very special character. She can be a typical mare, as you would put it, which I always find quite weird to say, because I don't think that there are typical mares. Of course, a few stereotypes, but you cannot just say, well, this is typical mare. But she's feisty. She's in her own. She gets annoyed real quick. If she doesn't understand something, a task that we're doing, she will get really annoyed by it, and she will show me. And so especially for me as an amateur rider, she's been a huge challenge. And we've already been to a point where we went to international shows and where we had already conquered this, and I could have really relaxed rides. But when we moved here, I didn't have enough space in the stable that we're boarding at. So she had half a year break. And when I got her back in, it was all the way back to the start. So right now our path is a little bit frustrating, to be honest, but that's something that we're going to work on, and I'm really looking forward to it. Although I know that I will feel all the emotions. This horse is really probably responsible for a few gray hair on my head, gray hair on my head, yes. But I love her to pieces, and to be honest, I think that nobody ever took the time to get to know her. And sometimes I feel like she thinks that she's annoyed by everyone, and I'm the one that she's annoyed by least. Caspi is the second horse that I bred, and that was also the horse where I noticed that I am quite lucky when it comes to breeding, but I'm a terrible seller. I just can't sell horses. So that was the moment I decided breeding might not be my thing, although I thought it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed getting all these horses. But that was the moment that I decided that I should stop breeding, because if it would have proceeded, then I would now be a crazy horse lady.
You are.
Caspi is my little prince in the herd. He has been a straight A student. I just can't put it in other words, because the moment we started working with him, he was just easy. He never bucked. He was, until now, he hasn't bucked with a rider on his back. He's the nicest horse. He's 4, and we've started to do like a few jumps under the saddle, and everything's easy with him. He has had a few problems with his body because he's quite a big horse, and he grew quite quick, so he had a lot of breaks in between, but at the same time it's just all very easy with him. He's if you say, okay, let's do that, he's like, okay. And you say, okay, let's try this. And he's like, okay, let's do that. So everything's really easy with this horse. So I've been really lucky with the horses that I bred, or with the horses that have been by my side ever since they were foal. And yeah, on top of that, Caspi is my absolute dream horse, because I always wanted a chestnut. I do have a few grays in my stable, and I've always wanted a chestnut. And when he wasn't born yet, I said, if it's a stallion and a chestnut, I will keep him, because he was more likely to be a brown or a horse or a white horse. And then I got my chestnut stallion.
Horse girls. When I told a friend that Harriet has quite a couple of horses, he told me, leave her. And I think it's not that bad. Luckily I stayed, but I can get the sense of why it might be a bit too much for some other man. Yeah, I can handle it, but it's definitely tough at times. But what I love most is the passion about it. So I'm also very passionate about my own sports. And I think when it comes down to horses, it's just either passion or no passion. And in my case, it's no passion. But for Harriet, it's 100% passion. She loves what she's doing. And that's why I love it. I love it because of her.
Good.
What I especially like about Caspi is that he's got a very goofy character. So if he would be a human, he would always be the one in the friend group who's making all the jokes and is making everybody laugh.
Yeah, what am I looking forward to once Harriet starts going to tournaments again? I'm hoping for her to win, because when she's winning, she's happy, and then I'm also happy. The big problem with this, with all sports, where the actual tournament or competition is just for a few seconds, is the amount of work you need to put in to go there, to get your things there, and then in the end the competition is 1 minute 20. The thing is, with horse riding, you have to take your whole horse and stuff and everything that is connected to it. So you get up at 3, drive somewhere in the middle of nowhere for 4 hours, warm up, ride for 1 minute 20, lose, and then go back home for 4 hours again. So losing is not an option. I wanted to win.
Auf geht's. Ja.
I've been living in Hamburg for over 20 years, and that's also the place where I met my husband. We have now already moved to the south of Lower Saxony because we found our dream house here, which we're also currently sitting in. And as you can see, it's still a construction site and we are renovating it currently, and my guess is that we'll move in by next summer. His guess is earliest next Christmas. So let's see who's right. Owning a house feels very mature, and I'm really proud of actually owning a house. But it sometimes also comes with a few surprises, some of them good, some of them maybe not so good. We were actually at the stable when the thunderstorms struck our area, so we drove to our house to check if everything was fine, and I already had quite a bad feeling when I saw that the firefighters were at our neighbor's house pumping water from the cellar, but I was not prepared for what I saw when I went down the stairs to the cellar.
What's your problem right now?
I really don't know where to start. I mean, the good thing is that we put every piece of furniture on stuff that we don't need anymore. And actually we were talking about where we put it down here. We said it's a stupid idea to put it in the cellar. What happens if it gets flooded? And we were like, no, as if that's going to happen. I mean, we don't have these kind of rainfalls here, but apparently we do now. So yeah, it's a good workout. I mean, I wanted to get more fit, so, but not this way. Oh.
Ich mache hier die Story meines Lebens daraus. Ich sag's dir, das, wenn nicht auf Netflix gesendet wird. Ja.
Kim, there are people dying.
What do I think about the house? Look at me. I have holes in my shirt. It's like I just came here to work. Now I'm sitting here commenting on some random facts about our life. But I guess I'm going back to work in a second. Du musst aber den Stecker auch reinstecken, Papa. Nein, das geht nicht einfach so. Müssen wir hier vielleicht die großen Bretter holen, dass wir die vorne von oben.
In the end, it took us quite a few hours to save all of the furniture, to put them in other places which are dry and safe, and also to get all of the water out of the cellar. So I was pretty exhausted after that day, and that was actually the first time that of course I don't regret buying the house, but the first time I was like, oh goodness, why did we do this? Usually our house is of course not flooded, so let me give you a small tour of what we're currently working on. So this is our entry hall, and it's probably the place that made us fall in love with the house in the first place. As you can tell, it's obviously a very old house, and we absolutely love it. Please excuse the mess, but as we had a big drama in the cellar with a lot of water, that's why it's looking the way it's looking now. Usually, I mean, it's still a construction site, but it's not as messy as it is right now. So when you buy an old house, of course, you see a lot of things or find a lot of things that give you maybe a little bit of a headache. But this was the thing that we absolutely loved. We found an old door. And when they put a wall up here, they actually hid the door in there. So we have a perfectly fine door, which we're just going to tidy up a bit, and then we have a beautiful door which is separating our dining room from our kitchen.
Actually, I've never been to a house like this before, so in the end it's just because Harriet has a sense for style, for I would even say she's classy, and that's when I saw her eyes here in the house. I was convinced as well that it was the right house for us as a family. Problem is, it's a complete shit house. Do you say shit house? I don't know. But it's way too much work. In Germany we say the way is the goal. It's not, I can tell you. It's a lot of work, but yeah, in the end, the final result will show whether it was all worth it.
So we obviously still have a lot of work to do. So right now we're tearing down all of the wallpaper, which is something that we're doing by ourselves. But after we're going to be done with this, I mean, there's still a lot of decisions that have to be made. We're done now with deciding on which room is going to be taken, or who's going to live in which room, and what we're going to do here with the rest of the rooms. We're pretty done with that, but for example, we still have to decide on a kitchen, which is important because then we can only decide where electricity and water have to go. And after we're done with that, that's the moment when companies are going to take over. So I think the build-up is going to be a lot quicker, especially as we are right now doing it all in our free time, which we don't have much of right now. But we're doing our best, and I think it's also nice to get to know the house a lot, because as we're spending a lot of time with it, we're learning along the way. I mean, we've never renovated a house, and we've never turned a house into its raw state. So for us, it's like really nice. And I think although a house is an object, it's still kind of, you get to know the soul of the house, if you know what I mean. As I'm wearing quite a few hats currently, my life would definitely be a lot easier if my husband would finally fully commit to being an Instagram husband, but I haven't convinced him yet.
My job as an Insta husband is always waiting for me. There's a permanent job description online at harrietjensen.com. Yeah. And on Instagram, which is where only I can apply, Instagram husband. Thing is, you need to click, watch, and follow everything that Harriet does, and then she will be able to afford me. It's quite expensive.